Thank you everybody for joining us for this online class, and thank you so much, Sandy, for hosting it. Really appreciate that. If everybody can mute their phone, or see anybody on your end, you can mute everybody. I'm still getting quite a bit of echo. Good. Okay, that's better. All right, well, we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to the Introduction to Essential Oils class. My name is Carolyn Rahaner, and I'll just start this evening out by telling you guys how I got into essential oils. Those of you who know me know that I've been into health and wellness for quite some time. I have a couple of degrees in it, and I've had a practice for several years now, helping people get healthy and achieve wellness through natural means, and I love doing that. It was probably a couple years ago I started dabbling a little bit in essential oils and started learning that they could be quite beneficial, especially for children and babies who can't take any sort of supplementation, but I still focused a lot on supplementation and diet in my practice, and saw great results for most people, but ran into a couple of problems, one being that most children have a difficult time taking supplements, and I loved helping moms with their children and noticed more and more that children are just so sick these days and just have so many health challenges. And with supplementation, there's not a great way to help them with some of their issues. You know, you can maybe only get 1 or 2 supplements into a child, but sometimes they have a lot going on. So that was always a difficulty for me, and just noticed in my own family that we had some issues that just weren't being knocked. Even though we ate well, we ate organic, and we were taking our supplements and doing everything right, we still had some issues. One of my kids had a year-long battle with eczema that we could just never get a hold of, even with all the diet changes, and you know, having a great diet, taking supplementation, trying every topical cream and lotion, we could just never get a handle on her eczema. So that was one thing that led me to discover more about essential oils. And we had just had some other nagging things in our family. My oldest struggled with migraines, and my husband, you know, if he caught something, his respiratory tract just wouldn't recover for months. He would just have a chronic cough, even though he was eating better and doing all the right things. So interestingly enough, it was actually a client of mine invited me to a class similar to what the information similar to what you're going to hear tonight. It was an Introduction to Essential Oils class, and of course I knew a lot about essential oils, but I didn't know everything that they could do. I didn't know how incredibly powerful they were, and I didn't realize also that there was a difference in quality between what you could find on the health food store shelves and what was offered through a company called Young Living, which is the company that we're going to talk about tonight, their oils. So we're going to go ahead and get started introducing you guys to essential oils. So what are essential oils exactly? Well, they're the healing component of the plant. They carry oxygen, they help to fight illness within the plant, and they protect the plant from disease. If you crack open a leaf, you're going to see a little bit of liquid come out, and that's the oil within the plant. And they are actually the medicinal healing properties of that plant. So even if you take a dried herb, herbs are great, and I've used a lot of herbs in my practice in the past, but it's actually the oil within the herb that is the effective component. And so now for a lot of people I've switched over to using essential oils because they just pack so much more power. They pack a more powerful punch, so to speak, and you get more for your money, and you get results faster with essential oils, which is wonderful. So just like they protect the plant from illness, they also can protect you. They penetrate your cell membranes very easily. They can diffuse through your blood and tissues. They are incredibly concentrated. So in just 1 drop of essential oil, you're going to find hundreds of beneficial compounds. So that makes oils very cost effective. It also makes oils just very easy to use, very easy to apply to your children and to yourself, you know, and you're going to see great results very quickly rather than what you may have accomplished with 6 or 12, capsules of an herb, now you can achieve with just 1 or 2 drops of essential oil, which is phenomenal to me. So oils can be used as medicine, sort of in place of medicine, and we'll talk about a lot of those uses tonight in this class. And what I mean by that is where you used to reach for a Tylenol for a headache, you can reach for an essential oil because they work that quickly and they work that well. You can use things you replace a lot of the medicines in your medicine cabinet that all have side effects. You can replace those with safe, high-quality essential oils. And you can also use the essential oils to help correct underlying imbalances in the body. So you can use essential oils to detoxify the liver, to detoxify the colon, to correct hormone imbalances. All of those types of things can be achieved using essential oils. And one thing that I like to point out is that essential oils are God-given, and they work perfectly with the body. There are no side effects. There are no downsides, really, to using essential oils, so they're incredibly safe. And they're also nothing new, really. They're not, new age or anything like that, like some people might think. They've actually been around since the beginning of time because they're found in our plants. But you'll see a lot actually about essential oils in the Bible. There are recipes for essential oils in the Bible. There are over 200 references to essential oils in the Bible. And I truly believe, after studying this and after reading a really great book that I highly recommend called Healing Oils of the Bible, I really believe that they are the medicine that God gave us, that God put on this planet for us to use. And of course, He gave us all the wonderful food, and He gave us herbs, and He gave us, clean water, and all these wonderful things to keep us healthy. But He also gave us these oils, and there's a lot said about how they're used, why they're used, actually in the Bible, so it's a great reference. There's one scripture that says their fruit shall be for food and their leaves for healing, talking about the plants. And so, if you think about a tree, you're going to have the foliage on the tree that can be used for healing in a lot of cases by either drying it or, to be more powerful, by compressing the oil or distilling the oil. And then you have the fruit, which is our food. So I believe that that was God's design. And Proverbs 21:20 says, precious treasure and oil remain in the house of the wise. And in the last almost 2 years now that I've really dove into essential oils, it's kind of become my passion, or my husband would say obsession, but tomato, tomato. I have found that to be very true, that it is very wise to have essential oils on hand, because when illness strikes at our family, or like when I see my daughter start to have a flare-up of her eczema again, it's not a year-long battle like it used to be. I know exactly what to do, nip it in the bud and to get it under control, or if there's a virus going around our house, I know exactly what to do to nip that in the bud, and so it's not so severe. So it is very wise to have essential oils on hand in your medicine cabinet or in your kitchen cabinet. Another neat thing that I like to point out about essential oils is that essential oils carry a frequency, like all living things. Our plants have a frequency, but essential oils, being the most potent part of that plant, have a very high frequency or high energy. And things like processed foods, eating processed foods, stress, coffee, pharmaceutical medications, even negative thoughts can lower the frequency of our bodies, and that can actually make us more susceptible to disease and sickness. So we want to keep our frequency high, and because viruses, bacteria, and cancer will thrive in a low frequency environment. So that's why, we always feel better when we eat more raw. If you're eating more salads and drinking clean water and getting out and getting fresh air and exercise, you're going to feel better than you would if you sat at home and had negative thoughts and drank coffee and ate processed food all day long. I mean, I think we all know that because we've all had good days and bad days with, our diet and our lifestyle choices that we've made. And so part of why you feel so much better when you eat raw And when you're outdoors and when you're thinking positive thoughts and spending time in prayer and all of that, part of the reason is because it's increasing the frequency or the energy level of our body. So it's nice to know that adding essential oils into your lifestyle can help to raise the frequency and help kind of offset. Sometimes we might lower our frequency. Maybe we have a cup of coffee or something like that, but maybe you add a drop of peppermint essential oil to your coffee or cinnamon essential oil or something, and kind of offset the frequency. And there have actually been studies that have been done that have shown that breathing an essential oil after drinking coffee will help to correct that lower frequency, that situation that you've just created in your body, whereas otherwise it would take up to 48 hours for your normal level of frequency to return after drinking a cup of coffee. So I think that's really interesting. So we definitely want to add high frequency to our bodies any way we can, and essential oils are a very safe, convenient, easy way to do that. All right, so I'm going to talk about why you want to look for therapeutic grade essential oils, because essential oils are definitely not all created equal. There's not a lot of regulation in the oil industry, and the vast majority of essential oils that are produced for the perfume and fragrance industry. You'll see maybe a little touch of essential oil in like a shampoo or something like that. And a lot of essential oils are produced just for that grade of product, just so that they can be in some shampoo that's otherwise full of chemicals, but now they can put on the label it has essential oils in it. So there may be a little drop of some low quality essential oil at the last ingredient on the bottle or something. But because of that, there's lots and lots of essential oils that are produced that are not good quality. And so there's very few companies out there that actually are producing good quality essential oils. And the best one is Young Living, and that's why we're going to talk about only Young Living oils tonight. But producing a therapeutic grade oil can be affected by a lot of different things. It can be affected by the soil conditions, by the type of fertilizers used. Actually, it can be affected by the geographic region where you're growing the plant. The same is true for herbs, actually. I'd have people in my practice all the time that say, oh, I tried that herb and it didn't work. And I say, well, you tried that herb at Walmart. It's not the same when you go with a good herbal company that has grown the plant in the right region of the world and used the right soil conditions. So of course the same is going to be even more true of the essential oil, because it's the goodness of the plant concentrated. So you want to make sure that you're getting a good high quality essential oil. The essential oil's therapeutic benefits can be affected by harvest, how the plant is harvested, and of course how it's distilled. You can do everything right and then not distill it properly, and you still will not have a good quality oil. Young Living essential oils are produced from carefully identified plants with chemical profiles that match or exceed the world standards. The most rigorous standards of any essential oil producer that Young Living has, and so that's critical, of course, to gain therapeutic results, because you're not going to get good results from a poor quality plant that's going to yield a poor quality oil. Not to mention the fact that you're going to have a lot of potentially chemical contaminants in that oil that you don't want to be putting on your body. And Young Living actually has the only essential oils that can be used internally. And that's important because you want to be able to use oils that you can put in a capsule and take internally in a critical situation. For example, if my daughter gets a hold of something she's allergic to and I start to see her scratch her arm and I know that her eczema is starting to flare back up, I don't even mess with topical. I go straight to the capsule and I put in oils that we'll talk about here in a minute, and I have her take a capsule and we're done. We don't, that it just totally nips it in the bud. And so for things like that, or for chronic health challenges, or even for viruses, things like that, you want to have oils on hand that you can not only massage on the body or massage on the feet or inhale, but that if you're in a critical situation and you need to knock a virus quick, you can actually put it in a capsule and take it internally and feel completely confident about that you're not taking in anything that's harmful to you. Young Living has what's called a seed to seal guarantee. So that means that everything from the planting of the seed to when they put that product on the shelf, they guarantee that everything that happens during that process is according to their standards, which are their incredibly high quality control standards. No other company can really say that. All the other companies out there are basically just brokers for farms that sell different grade essential oils. And so Young Living actually has their own farms. They plant their own seeds, and they are responsible for the whole process, which is nice because you can have that confidence that you know, that what you're getting is actually pure and is actually going to be the highest quality essential oil available. Because I don't know about you, but that's what I want to use for my family, is I want to use the best. And so I'm sure you do too. So I feel very confident with their seed to seal guarantee that I'm getting the best essential oil. They test every batch of oil, and only approximately 28% of their oils are accepted. Many of them that don't pass their standards are actually sent back to the farms, because on the farms they use essential oils as a natural herbicide. They don't use any chemicals. They use essential oils, and then they hand pick any weeds or anything that gets in the way. They don't use any chemicals, which is great, because if you think about, essential oils are the fat-soluble part of the plant, and that's where toxins love to go. When we have toxins in our body, they get stored in our fat cells. So that's why I've always, told people, if you can only splurge on one thing organic, let it be your fats, let it be your butter and your, dairy or things like that, because that animal, if they're eating non-organic grass and they've got chemicals in their body, those chemicals are going into their fat and into, obviously butter is the milk fat. So when it comes to herbs, you want to make sure that, organic herbs would be great, but organic essential oils are even more important because it's that fat-soluble component of the plant. So let's talk about ways to use the oils. There are lots of different ways to use essential oils. You can use them topically, of course. You can put directly wherever you want to put them, really. If there's, a rash, or, maybe you burned yourself, and you can put lavender directly on a cut or burn. And I'm only talking about Young Living lavender. I should have prefaced that at the beginning. Any uses for the essential oils that I mentioned, just please know that they're only for Young Living, because I'd hate for you to go to the store and make a burn worse by using a lavender that's potentially contaminated, and a lot of people have done that. So you just want to make sure that you're using good quality essential oils when you use them topically, and obviously, of course, when you take them internally. But if you're going, you can apply them directly to any, pretty much anywhere on the body. You can also massage them into the bottoms of your feet, and you can also Google a term called Vitaflex points, and you'll pull up a chart that has Vitaflex points, which are on the bottom of your feet. And those, we all have points on the bottom of our feet and on our hands, and there's some on our ears and different places of the body, and they correspond with our different glands and organs. So if you're really trying to beat, a sinus infection, you could massage it into your sinus reflex points, which are your toes. Or if you've got a bronchial issue, you can massage it into the reflex points of your lungs, in addition to putting it directly on the lungs. So there's lots of different ways that you can use essential oils topically. They go into our bloodstream in 3 seconds. So they act very quickly, and a lot of people don't realize that your skin is an organ. That is the largest organ in your body, and your skin readily absorbs everything that you put on it. And if you don't believe me, put some garlic on the bottom of your feet tonight, and you'll taste it very quickly, and your whole body will start to smell like garlic because you're absorbing it from the bottom of your feet through your skin. So that is good because it gives us an avenue to apply things medicinally on our skin, but it can also be a little bit dangerous because you think about all the products that you use on your skin every day, from lotions to makeup to perfumes that a lot of people spray. Well, you're getting that straight into your bloodstream when you do that. So we have to be very careful about what we put on our skin. Another thing that you can do is you can directly inhale the oils, and you can do that by putting some oil in your hand, rubbing your hands together and just breathing it in, or you can diffuse it, which we'll talk about in a second. Now, the nice thing about direct inhalation is that it gives the oil access to your limbic system. Your limbic system is in your brain, and that's the system that is involved with emotional regulation. So if you think about, maybe walking into a room and, smelling fresh baked cookies, or smelling a pipe, or, something, it might bring you back to your grandfather's pipe, or it might bring you back to your grandma's kitchen, or, you think about all the emotions and all of the memories that are triggered. That's triggered through your limbic system. And the only way to actually get to your limbic system is through your sense of smell. So that opens up powerful doorways for using essential oils for emotional regulation, because they're really the only thing that can reach that part of the brain to help us release emotions, to help us release negative memories and things like that, and to help balance our emotions. So essential oils can have powerful implications for things like depression, mood issues, recovering from old traumas, all sorts of things like that. And there's a lot of great emotionally geared essential oil blends that Young Living has. But direct inhalation can also help the oil get straight to your lungs. So it's great for bronchial stuff, sinus stuff, anything that with direct access to that system of the body. Just inhaling can be really powerful. You can also diffuse it into a room, like I'm doing back here with my Young Living home diffuser. The nice thing about diffusing is that it can help to clean the air, it can help to kill bacteria and viruses and molds, and it also affects the mood in the room. So like we talked about the limbic system, well, just diffusing peppermint into the room can create an alert atmosphere. Diffusing, they have a blend called Thieves, which we'll talk about, or there's also a blend called Christmas Spirit, which I loved diffusing in my home at Christmas time because it just smelled so good, and we were also doing wonderful things for our respiratory system at the same time as we were diffusing this Christmas Spirit blend. So we were getting the health benefits and also just kind of the mood enhancement benefits. You can also help to kind of calm things down in a room by diffusing blends like Peace and Calming or diffusing lavender. Those are wonderful to affect whatever kind of mood you're trying to create in the room. And like I mentioned, you can also take the oils internally just by putting them in a capsule or putting them in water or juice, or the juice that Young Living has called Ningxia Red. It's very tasty, and it actually helps disguise the taste of a lot of the oils really well. So you have quite a few options for using your essential oils. So just for the purposes of this evening, because there are over 200 essential oils and there's tons of things that we can do with essential oils that I will talk about in future classes, we're going to talk tonight about a collection called the Everyday Oils Collection. And these are 10 oils that you will literally find yourself using every day. And even if a few don't resonate with you at first, trust me, you eventually will start using all of them on a very regular basis as you become more familiar with all the different things that they can do for you. These 10 oils can help to heal common illnesses in your family, restore emotional well-being, and really help you create a natural medicine cabinet, help you ditch the drugstore, because everything that you find on the shelves at the drugstore has side effects, and they're really only good for maybe 1 or 2 symptoms to help you mask a symptom. It's not getting to the root of anything. And what's great about essential oils is you can get rid of a lot of those pesky symptoms, like maybe a cough or a sore throat, but you're also doing something very help save you money and save you hassle. I hate going to the doctor or taking my kids to the doctor because I feel like they're going to be exposed to 10 other viruses in the waiting room, and so I rarely do that. I just turn to my essential oils for help with whatever's going on. So it can also help you avoid prescription drugs, which again, side effects high cost, all of that. So this is a really great, well put together collection that Young Living offers. So the first oil that we're going to talk about tonight, and if you're live with Sandy, maybe she will have these oils that she can pass around so you guys can smell them. My favorite oil right now, I think, is frankincense. It's a very, very valuable healing oil. We've all heard about the three wise men, you know, that frankincense was one of the gifts brought to Jesus. And so, you know, it's good enough for Jesus, it's good enough for me, right? It's a very valuable healing oil. It was valued more than gold in ancient times. And there's a 16th century BC medical record that actually contains over 877 prescriptions and recipes for essential oils, many of them for frankincense. So it was very valuable. Several of the things that frankincense does is it helps with mood. It actually acts as an antidepressant and an anti-anxiety. So it's wonderful for depression. It's very calming to the body. I held it in front of one of my daughters the other day, and I can't even remember why. I don't remember why I put it in front of her, and you know, I said, just smell this. Oh, I think it was because she had a fever. She wasn't feeling well on Friday, and so I said, just smell the frankincense, and she just goes, oh, Mom, I feel so calm. You know, I love seeing the results in kids because, you know, that's not placebo because they don't really know what the oils are supposed to do. They just know how they feel when they use them. And so it was just a classic response. So it's great for people with depression, with post-traumatic stress disorder. They've done brain scan studies that have shown people recovering from post-traumatic stress and depression using frankincense. It's also great for any kind of skin condition, like stretch marks, scars, sunspots, anything like that, because frankincense actually works on the DNA of the body to promote healing. So it's great for anything where the DNA has been damaged. So that makes it actually a very powerful anti-cancer, anti-tumor. And they've done studies. They're out there. You can look for them on YouTube or PubMed. They've done studies showing that Young Living frankincense will actually dissolve cancer cells quite rapidly. So, you know, I like to use that for any sort of illness that my family might have. I just always add a little bit of frankincense, maybe adding a drop to a capsule if any of us are taking oils internally for any reason, and I'll occasionally diffuse it just to create a calm, you know, experience. I didn't used to diffuse frankincense a lot because it is one of the more valuable, i.e. expensive, essential oils. So I used to save it for the times when it was just really necessary. And then one day, it was around Christmas time, and I just was in the mood to smell frankincense, and so I diffused it, and we were, you know, home all day. It was on a Saturday. And, you know, Saturdays sometimes can result in just a lot of bickering between the kids and a lot of chaos. And I diffused frankincense downstairs, and I noticed that while we were downstairs, everybody was very calm. Everybody was getting along. It was just such a peaceful, wonderful Saturday. And then after a little while, you know, the girls went upstairs, and after about an hour, I guess the frankincense wasn't up there. And they, you know, start bickering, and I thought, oh no, I need to have two diffusers going with frankincense apparently. But it is really wonderful for just promoting a calm atmosphere. And it can also balance high blood pressure and just, like I said, help with anything where the DNA is involved. So the next one we're going to talk about is lemon. Lemon is a very cleansing oil. We always think of lemon when we think of clean, but the lemon that's in your cleaners is chemicals, so don't be fooled. Lemon essential oil actually comes from the rind and not the pulp, so it's not acidic. It's not going to hurt your teeth if you put lemon oil in your water on a regular basis. I do it all the time and love it. It actually takes 43 lemon rinds to equal 1 bottle of lemon essential oil. So it's very, very concentrated. Lemon is a natural antibacterial, antioxidant, and anti-tumor oil. So it's a great thing for anybody struggling with tumors. It's great for any sort of bacterial infection. You can put it straight in the back of your throat. You can put lemon in your water to get that antibacterial action in your mouth. and also into your bloodstream, of course, which is great. Anytime you're sick, you want to drink lots and lots of lemon water. Diffusing lemon will kill bacteria in the air in 15 to 20 minutes. It's a great one to diffuse if anybody's been sick in the house, or if you just kind of want that fresh, clean, not only smell, but effect. You want that clean effect in your house. You want to kill all the junk that comes in. So lemon is great for that. It actually helps to detoxify the liver and kidneys, so another great reason to put lemon in your water on a daily basis. And it dissolves chemicals, so that's good because you want it to dissolve the chemicals that are in your system. We all have BPAs and dioxins in our bloodstream from drinking plastic water bottles and just breathing the air that's around us. We all have chemicals in our system that we need to get out, we need to detoxify. So, I've been a huge proponent of detoxification in my practice. I always put people on a detoxification first thing before we do anything else. But lemon oil in your water is a great way to not only start that gentle detoxification process, but also to gently detoxify every single day. And lemon is a very affordable oil, so it's great, and it's one that you can just put in your water all day long. And just drink it and know that you're getting a gentle detox all day. It's also, one thing about the plastics is you need a glass water bottle for your lemon because it will just actually dissolve the the chemicals in the plastic if you're drinking out of a plastic bottle. So you want stainless steel or glass in your lemon water. Lemon is also great for skincare. It's a great drainer, so it's good for any kind of acne, oily skin. It's good for a cough because all that mucus draining through the back of your throat. It helps with that. Sometimes people just have gunk in the back of their throat and they're always clearing their throat. It will help with that. It's great for ear infections. You can put it behind the ear to help drain fluid from the ear or earwax. And I've seen this with my toddler. He's kind of earwax prone, and I'll put just a drop behind his ear and just a blob of earwax will come out the next morning. It's crazy, but it's great for that. It will stop an ear infection in its tracks too. So great for anything where you want the body, you want to encourage drainage. Lemon also helps to enhance concentration, so it's a good thing to diffuse at work or at home, especially during homework time or homeschool time. Lemon is great to help with concentration, and it also works as a mild antidepressant. So the next one we're going to talk about is peppermint. Peppermint is also extremely potent, as all essential oils are. One drop is the equivalent of 26 cups of peppermint tea. So a lot of us have had the experience of maybe eating too much or eating something that doesn't agree with us and having a cup of peppermint tea and feeling a little bit better after that. Well, just one drop of peppermint oil in a glass of water or a cup of green tea or something like that is, and you can stop nausea, vomiting, even if it's a bad stomach bug, you can nip it in the bud with peppermint. It's really wonderful. It's great for mental alertness, just like lemons. You could oftentimes I'll diffuse peppermint and lemon in the morning, just kind of get my kids up and ready for school. Studies have shown that inhaling peppermint actually increases mental accuracy by 28%. So it's another great one for school time or work time, anytime you need that extra focus. Peppermint is great. I mentioned digestion, nausea, headaches. This was actually what made me fall in love with essential oils, was the fact that I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation that I had a daughter who suffered from migraines. Well, if you've seen your child go for 3 years suffering from migraines to the point that they are throwing up, passing out because the pain is just so severe that their body can't handle it. This started when she was 6 years old. So to watch your child go through that on a regular basis is excruciating. And, after thousands of dollars on specialists and, all the tests, MRI, everything, trying everything under the sun that we could possibly think of to try to help her with her migraines, and nothing helped until we discovered peppermint oil. And to think that this bottle of essential oil. It was so much less expensive than any of the doctors that we've been to, any of the special glasses and, you know, all sorts of crazy things that we tried to help her with her migraines. Peppermint helped more than anything. And I would just put a little bit on her temples. You want to be careful of the eye area with peppermint. It's very strong. I just put a little bit on her temples, and eventually she got to where she could drink it. It's very potent. So you put one drop in a big thing of water, like, you know, this size container of water, and it's quite strong. But you do get used to it over time, and you know, eventually, I mean, now she wants it all the time. She wants her peppermint water, and she keeps it with her, and she just knows that it helps her. It helps with congestion. It helps with sinuses. I've had people, if anybody who's with Sandy who has the oils has any sort of sinus issues or a headache, you know, feel free to use her peppermint. I'll offer it on her behalf. You can put a drop of peppermint in your hands and just breathe, and it will completely open up your sinuses. You can put some on your temples. You can put it on the bridge of your nose. Again, just, you know, be really careful of the eye, getting too close to the eyes. Put it on the back of your neck for a tension headache. It's phenomenal stuff. For anything like that. It also helps to curb the appetite, so it's great to drink before or during maybe an event, a party or something where there's some sweets and you don't want to give in to that. It's great for, you know, for weight loss because it can help curb the appetite. That has a lot of wonderful benefits. It also helps with nerves. So if you know anybody that suffers from neuropathy, they can actually just put peppermint on the bottom of their feet or wherever they're struggling, and it actually helps to nourish the nervous system. And it lowers body temperature, so you can use it in the case of a fever as well. You can just put massage it under your children's feet if you want to break their fever, which I usually like to let fever run its course at least 24 hours. But after that, if they're miserable and not eating, not drinking, and they're just, you know that they'd feel better if the fever broke, then you can break their fever safely, not without Tylenol. You can break it with just a little bit of peppermint. All right, so now we're going to talk about lavender. Lavender is often called the Swiss Army knife of oils because it does so many different things. It has over 200 constituents, and it takes 170 to 250 pounds of lavender plant material to equal 1 pound of lavender oil. So again, extremely potent. Lavender is anti-anxiety. It helps with sleep. A lot of us are familiar with that traditional use of lavender. But what I didn't know until before I was introduced to Young Living was that lavender is actually an excellent antihistamine. And you are not going to find this benefit with store-bought lavender because I've tried. One day when I ran out of lavender and my daughter was sneezing, I pulled out an old bottle of something I got at the store before I knew there was a difference, and tried to do my trick where I just put a couple drops in my hand, rub my hand together, and have her take 5 or 6 deep breaths. I tried that and it didn't work. So, but it does work every time with the Young Living lavender. So you can use it to stop that those seasonal allergy symptoms. You can of course use it for wound healing, burns, scrapes, skin issues. A wonderful oil for eczema because it's so gentle. You can use it for respiratory infections. It's also antibacterial, antiviral. You can use it for ear infections as well, behind the ear. It's anti-inflammatory, and it actually helps to reduce blood pressure, and it helps to reduce cortisol, which is a stress hormone. I talk more about that in my hormone class, which I'd love to have you all attend, but for purposes of this class, I'll just say that it's great for any kind of stressful situation. It will actually lower your cortisol levels. So the next one we're going to talk about, we're going to get into the blends now. These are specific blends that Young Living offers. This one is called Purification. Purification does what it says. It purifies the skin, the body, and the air. So you can use it for a lot of different things. Purification, I love it, and probably the way that I use it the most is just to neutralize any bad odor that's in my home. Because it actually will dissolve the chemicals. Unlike fragrances and Febreze and candles and the Glade plugins and all of that stuff, those all contain formaldehyde. And formaldehyde is the #1 cancer-causing chemical. You definitely want to get all of that stuff out of your house right now, tonight, before you go to bed. Get it all out of your house because that stuff is horrible for you. You can actually kill the odors in a healthy way with this blend and with a lot of different oils, but this one is specifically designed with oils that help to dissolve chemicals. And I've used it, when we've got new furniture or when we've painted a room. Actually, the wall behind me was just painted a couple of days ago because we had a flood, and so we had to repaint the wall anyway, so we just repainted it. And I actually had a client come to my house to pick up some things, and about 30 minutes after the painter left. And so he had just freshly painted 2 coats of paint, and of course I started smelling it in my living room, and so I went, oh no, I need to put my purification. So I put a diffuser in the corner of the room with the purification going, and he left. Once he finished, as soon as he finished, he left. 30 minutes later, she walks through my door, and we start chit-chatting, and I'm explaining why my office is a wreck because we had a flood at our house and all of that, and saying, yeah, we just painted this wall right here. And she said, you did? She goes, I don't smell paint at all. She said, I don't smell anything. And I was like, oh, well, I diffused some purification while he was painting, so that's why. So it was kind of interesting. So I've used that blend for a lot of funky smells, diaper pails and all kinds of stuff. So it's great for just to have as a natural air freshener. And I will either diffuse it or I will just get a little spray bottle and put a couple of drops of purification in it and just spray wherever that funky smell is, trash can or whatever. So it's great for that. Also works as a natural bug repellent because the first oil that's in there, the primary oil, is citronella, which acts as a great bug repellent. So you can use that for, if you're going outside, obviously you don't want to be covering your children with nasty bug repellents. You can put the purification in a spray bottle and spray them down with that, or massage, them down with some purification and a carrier oil if the bugs are really bad. It's also used as a bug bite remedy because it actually will dissolve the toxins that the bug put in your body when it bits you that are causing the itch and the inflammation. So whether it's a spider bite or, I've heard crazy stories, tarantulas and just scorpions and all sorts of nasty things that have bitten people, and they've run for their purification and put it on, and you wouldn't even know that the bite was there a little while later. I've seen it on my children with fire ant bites. My son got a fire ant bite on his face, and it was just this red, pussy thing, and I swiped one little dab of purification on it, and I literally watched the pus go away and the redness go away, and it was just amazing. About 10 minutes later, we couldn't even tell he'd been bitten by the ant. So it works really well. Also great to disinfect and clean cuts and scrapes. Purification also works with allergic reactions and with fungal problems. So a lot of overlap with essential oils, so a lot of different uses for all of them, which is wonderful. It's great for pets. A lot of people use it for their dog's ear mites, put it on the collar for fleas. I heard one lady say one time it's good for anything itchy or stinky, and so I like that. That's a good way to remember it. Anything itchy or stinky, you can use purification. All right, now we're going to talk about another one of my favorites, which is called Thieves. Thieves contains 5 highly antiviral, antibacterial, and anti-infectious essential oils. The story behind the crazy name for Thieves is that there were, back in the era of the Black Plague, there were spice traders who, the king closed the ports, and so they couldn't trade their spices anymore. So for many, they went in and looted people who had just died of the Black Plague and then sold their goods on the other side of town. So creative, but obviously not legal. So the king was after them, and once 4 of them were captured, he wanted to know why they were not dying of the Black Plague. And they were going into these people's homes and they were exposed to this illness, yet they were not catching it. And so he offered them a lighter sentence in exchange for them telling their secret. And so they did, and they told him that what they were doing is they took their knowledge as spice traders. They knew what oils would protect them, and they would just rub these oils on their body before they would go into the homes and loot the people that had just died. So, so the legend went on that that these particular oils were great for killing bacteria and viruses. And so when Gary Young, the founder of Young Living, heard this story, read the story, he proceeded to do a lot of research on this because he was fascinated by it, and he came up with this blend that was inspired by the story of the thieves. And they've done quite a few studies on it, showing that it kills basically everything, bacteria and viruses and molds and fungus and everything. It kills it in our bodies. It kills it when it's diffused into the air. So Thieves is a great blend for when anyone in your home is sick, or if anyone at the office is sick, you want to take some Thieves up there and diffuse it. We diffuse a lot of Thieves in our house during flu season, and I put it on the kids' feet oftentimes, before they go to school or daycare. I've got my son's daycare director diffusing it at the daycare to try to prevent illness in the classroom. So it's really a wonderful blend, and it smells great too. I love it. So it's great because it's going to kill all the germs. And if somebody does come home with an illness, they've picked up a virus, then use that as your first line of treatment. Use that Thieves, along with, of course, supporting the immune system and all of that. I massage it on the feet, I massage it on the back, on the spinal column. I'll put a little drop behind the ears in case a little ear infection is setting in. I diffuse it in the rooms at night, and if one kid comes home sick, I'll diffuse Thieves in everybody's bedroom that night, to prevent it from spreading. So it's a wonderful oil. Great for strep throat. A lot of people use it for oral hygiene. Great for toothaches, tooth infections, pain, gingivitis, bleeding gums. Great for fungal infections. You soak the nails and the feet in Thieves for fungal infections. And also it's good for blood sugar balancing. Who knew, right? But it has cinnamon in it, so that explains it. So if you know of anybody who struggles with blood sugar, it's another great thing that they can use Thieves for. There's actually an entire line of Thieves products. Because it cleans everything. You can, if they have a household cleaner that's going to clean your floors, your mirrors, your windows, your clothes, your carpet, even your produce. You can use it on every single thing in your house. The Thieves household cleaner is very concentrated. It makes 14 to 16 bottles of cleaner. So I will purchase one bottle of the cleaner, and it literally lasts me, I think my first bottle lasted me about a year. Now it lasts me about 6 months because I put some in my laundry and I use it for my produce, and I found more uses for it. So I would say it would last you anywhere from 6 months to a year, and it's a great value. There's also Thieves mouthwash, toothpaste, tooth floss, hand sanitizer. This is the hand sanitizer that I put in my kids' backpacks, not the stuff with triclosan, which is toxic. We use the Thieves hand sanitizer, and they have a foaming hand soap and also a little spray, a little purse-size spray that you can use as a disinfectant. And you can also spray it, because it's totally safe. You can spray it in your mouth to help with anything internally like strep throat. All right, so we're going to move on to a blend called Pan Away. You want to think of this blend as if it's called Pain Away. We can't say pain on anything natural thanks to our government regulations, but without the I, it's called Pan Away. And what it does is it actually reduces pain from injury or from anything like arthritis or tendonitis, bursitis, anything that creates joint pain or pain in general. This blend is going to help with that. It is anti-inflammatory, so it's going to calm the inflammation. It is wonderful, say, your child, like my kid has done recently, falls and bonks their head and they end up with a big old goose egg on their head. You can put Pan Away on their forehead and you will watch that goose egg start to decrease so rapidly. It's phenomenal. And it also kills the pain, so it's great. I have a child with sensory issues, so she's constantly stubbing her toes and banging into things, and then she's got, she's in tears because the pain, even if it's a mild pain. To her, it's severe. So I love having this oil, and I'll just put a little bit, and it just knocks it, and then she's off playing, and she's fine, and it doesn't turn into a total meltdown. I've used it on my foot one time. I thought my son had broke my foot because he slammed the iPad down on my foot in a big old fit, and he was only one at the time, so we have grace for that, right? But I literally thought my foot was broken, and my husband, my husband helped me limp over to the couch, and I'm like literally crying. It hurt so bad, and my husband says, "Well, do you want me to get the pan away?" And my thought was, "Are you kidding me? I broke my foot. An essential oil is not going to help me with a broken foot. We need to get an x-ray." Like, this is serious. And but I thought, no, be nice, he's trying to help. And so I said, sure, I'll try it. And so he put the pan away, and it was like the pain was gone. I thought maybe my foot had gone numb, or I was having a major placebo effect or something, but no, the pain was gone. It was amazing. And we just reapplied it every 20 or 30 minutes, and the next day I did have it checked out by a friend who is a nurse, and she couldn't believe that there was so little swelling, so little bruising, that I could walk on it. As I was explaining to her the intensity of the pain just the night before, she said, "What did you do? This doesn't look bad at all." And I said, "Well, I just kept putting pan away on it all night. Didn't know really what else to do. I didn't want to go to the hospital and get an x-ray." So I just kept doing that, and it got me through the night, and it is phenomenal stuff. So anyway, great thing to have around the house. Also for any joint pain. I think we all either have or know somebody who has some kind of, elbow, knee, back pain of some sort, and the Panaway is phenomenal for that. It's great for bruises. Great thing to have somebody rub into your shoulders. Talk to somebody and to give you a little shoulder massage. It's a great oil to add to that. Also good for muscle cramps or spasms, like Charlie horses, menstrual cramps. Put it directly on the ovaries. And it's great for any kind of back pain or sciatic pain. All right, so the next blend is called Peace and Calming. Another favorite. I think it's a favorite of all moms everywhere who've ever used it, because Peace and Calming helps to promote relaxation. It gives a deep sense of peace and emotional well-being. Great to diffuse into your home if you want to keep things calm. Great if the kids are getting a little overactive. Great thing to diffuse at night. I love to put it in my kids' bath at night to just kind of help that bath time routine go a little smoother, help calm them down. A lot of people have told me that they've used it for their pets. I don't have pets, but a lot of people will use it if, on like maybe a dog that's scared of the thunder, or that I had a friend who sent it to the kennel with her dog because he always had major separation anxiety in the kennel, and she told them to put it on the pads of his feet every day, and they did, and she was, everybody was shocked at how much better the dog did. And so I think that's amazing that even animals respond to these oils. So great for panic attacks, great for depression. It's a great thing to use if you have trouble winding down at night or have trouble sleeping. You can diffuse it or just massage it into your feet before you go to bed, massage it into your children's feet. It's just a wonderful blend for helping everybody kind of calm down. Another emotional blend is called Valor. With Valor, it helps with courage and strength. It's physically and emotionally grounding oil. This has become one of our favorite oils in my home for my middle child, the one that I mentioned has eczema. She's very emotionally fragile, you could say, and has a hard time regulating her emotions. So she's kind of up and down. And that can be very challenging when you're, just trying to go about life, and you've got a child that is having little breakdowns here and there, and just emotional struggles. So this is a great blend for and just for grounding everybody. It's great physically grounding. What that means is it helps to balance the energy of the body. So it's great for after a chiropractic adjustment or a massage treatment or acupuncture after any physical treatment that you have done to your body. Studies have actually shown that using Valor afterwards will help you hold a chiropractic adjustment, for example. They've actually helped cases of scoliosis using Valor, just topically using Valor. So it's an amazing blend for to balance the body physically and also emotionally, as I mentioned. It has the same frequency as your bones, so Valor is a great one to use with anything structural that's going on in the body. Emotional benefits are it helps with courage, it helps with self-esteem. It's a great one to use, if you're giving a presentation or you have a child that is maybe struggling in school or being bullied or just lacks confidence or just lacks, emotional stability. It's great for that. It's also, because oils have so many overlapping benefits, it's great for sleep apnea and it's great for kidney issues. This is the blend that helped my daughter break her bedwetting habit, so it's worth every penny. It's well paid for in what we save on pull-ups now. So Valor is wonderful for anything kidney related. It's good for anxiety, and it's also, a lot of people have reported that it's good for TMJ, and it can also help with headaches. People have reported that it's great for headaches. They just rub it on their forehead and get rid of headaches that way. So I think this was the blend that when I was at my first class learning about essential oils, I thought, I'm not going to use that one. Like, I don't need that one. There were some that I wanted. I didn't really care about Valor so much, but I'm so glad that I tried it because it is now one of my favorite oils. It actually has frankincense in it. It's a great way to get frankincense in the body without actually having to spring for a big bottle of frankincense. So it's a really wonderful blend. Not only has it been great for my daughter, but it's been great for my other daughter who has kind of lacked self-esteem at times. And it's been great for me too. I just love smelling it, and I just love going into my day with just more strength and courage and confidence, which it really does bestow that when you use this blend. All right, so those are the oils that are considered the everyday oils. Actually, there's one that I've not talked about, which is Joy. I'll talk about that in a minute. But just so you are aware, when you're making the transition from over-the-counter remedies to using essential oils, there's of course a learning curve, and sometimes it can seem a little bit overwhelming at times. But there's tons of information out there and tons of support. One thing that you'll find, online or on Pinterest or wherever, you'll find oil recipes, and those are a magic thing for you, but maybe combining a couple of oils does the trick. And that's what I have found. This is what I use for my daughter if I see any signs of eczema on her. I get a little capsule that is small enough for her to swallow, just empty capsules, which she can find at any health food store, and I do lavender, lemon, and peppermint in the capsule, and I have her take that. And for her now, one capsule of that nips that eczema outbreak in the bud. If it starts to get out of control, then maybe we do it for 2 days, and then we're done. I have heard moms say that they've gotten their kids off their allergy medication using this, that they've even gotten their kids off their asthma medication. And of course, you want to introduce the oils before you start doing away with any kind of medication, and make sure that that they're responding to the oils, and that you can get rid of the medications. We don't want to just strip somebody off of a medication that they really need, but you can phase the oils in, maybe one at a time, or using one of these tried and true recipes, and you see phenomenal results that way. So there's lots of resources. There's a pocket reference book that I usually have with me, but I don't right now. Sandy probably has hers there for those of you who are live. But it's a great reference tool. It will reference all of the Young Living oils, all the blends. It has a VitaFlex chart in it if you're curious about where to put things on your VitaFlex points. It's just a phenomenal reference guide. There's also Facebook for you Facebookers. The group that I and Sandy and I are part of is called Oily Families, and there's an Oily Family Room, which is a group page that we would be happy to plug you into. It's great no matter what time of day or night. If you have any issue going on, you can post a question on that page and you will get immediate responses. I don't care if it's 2 o'clock in the morning. You'll get people responding. So if you've got a child up in the middle of the night with an ear infection and you can't remember which oil to use, you can go into Oily Family Room. It's a very active group. I have a Facebook page called Oils for Hope. Hope is the name of my 8-year-old who has special needs, and I've mentioned her a couple times. And so that page is focused on oils for special needs kids. There's books available on Amazon. Inner Transformations with Essential Oils is great if you're really wanting to go in depth and do cleansing and detoxification, and if you have like a chronic health issue, fibromyalgia or MS or anything like that where you want to do some serious work on your body. Inner Transformations is a good book. There's also Healing Oils of the Bible, like I mentioned, which is great for just laying a biblical foundation for health and wellness, and in particular essential oils. There's also a book called Gentle Babies, which is great for anyone who's pregnant or knows somebody who's pregnant or knows somebody who has a baby or a small child. The Gentle Babies is a great reference for that. And another website that I love is called oil-testimonials.com. If you just create a free account with that website, you can search for anything and you will come up with all kinds of testimonials so that you can learn from other people's stories about what's worked for them in terms of using essential oils. So a lot of great resources. So now we're going to talk about how to get your own essential oils, because obviously you can't use it if you don't have it. So we're going to talk about that. The model that Young Living has is a network marketing or referral marketing model. And I love that because you would not be able to go to Whole Foods and get the kind of education on essential oils, how to use them, what to use for what kind of conditions, and all of that that you've gotten tonight, from the 18-year-old at Whole Foods. So, so the retail model is not ideal for promoting such a quality product. It really takes education to learn why Young Living oils are different, why you want to use a therapeutic grade oil, how to use the oil, and what to use the oil for. So you can sign up to become a member. It's the same thing as becoming a distributor or somebody who shares the product with others, but that doesn't mean that you have to share the product with others. You can just have a wholesale account and just be a wholesale user of the product, which I highly recommend that, because anywhere you can save money is ideal. Some people just want to sign up for retail, and that's completely fine, but truly a wholesale membership will pay for itself, typically in your first order, if not your second. So, it's an option that they offer, so I say take advantage of it. It costs $40 to open up a lifetime wholesale account. The only requirement to keep the account open is that you purchase $50 worth of product every year. You don't spend $50, you don't give them $50 like Costco. You don't give them $50 for nothing or even $40 for nothing, but just that you get $50 worth of product every year and you'll maintain that wholesale account. So it's a great value. It's just a one-time $40 fee to do that, and like I said, it pays for itself very quickly. However, if you don't want to pay the $40, you can sign up with what's called a premium starter kit. That's absolutely the best value in the whole company, the best value I think out there. It's oils less expensive, and that's a one-time purchase to help you get started, help you stock that medicine cabinet with the good quality essential oils. It's over $300 value and includes your wholesale membership. It includes your 10 everyday oils. I talked about 9 of them tonight. The one that I have not talked about is actually a recent addition to the kit, and it's a blend called Joy. And so it's pretty self-explanatory. It actually is a blend of essential oils that help create joy in the body. And I talked earlier about how essential oils can actually create emotional responses in the body. And I'm kind of scientific minded, I have my degree in science, and was a little skeptical about essential oils creating emotions or having an effect on emotions. I didn't really quite understand that at first, but I've seen it time and time again in myself, watching my emotions change, watching my children's emotions change without them even knowing what oil I'm using on them, and just hearing phenomenal things about phenomenal stories about how the essential oils have created an emotional benefit in somebody who's used them. So I'm a firm believer in it now. But joy does that. It literally helps to create joy. And so that's one of my favorites for myself and for my daughter that I mentioned that can sometimes be really grumpy and moody. I'll put a little joy behind her ears sometimes even before she wakes up in the morning, and it does really help. One of the main reasons I love joy is because it actually has rose oil in it. Rose oil is the most valuable, the most expensive oil because it takes so much plant material to create a good quality rose essential oil, and it also has the highest frequency. I talked about frequency early on. Rose oil has the highest frequency of any oil out there. So I've never personally purchased a bottle of rose because I just don't have that much money, frankly, to do that. It's a very expensive oil, but I get my rose through the Joy essential oil, so I love that. So the kit contains all of those oils. It also contains a free bottle of a blend called Stress Away, which is wonderful for helping to stop that cycle of stress. If you start to feel yourself getting stressed in the car with traffic, or one of your kids starts to get a little bit stressed, and just hand them the Stress Away, have them put a little bit on their wrists or behind their ears. It's wonderful. And you also get a home diffuser. You get this diffuser that's behind me. It's a $75 value. You get it with your kit. So it creates a phenomenal value for only $173 for those of you who are in Canada. I know I have some U.S. friends listening in. It's $150 here in the U.S. So either way, it's a phenomenal value, and I believe that really the best way to get started with essential oils. That's how I got started, and that was before they added the diffuser and before they added Stress Away and before they added Joy. And it was the same price, and I still got a great value. But now it's an incredible value, so it's absolutely the best way to get started. And I will just briefly mention another great program that Young Living has called Essential Rewards, because I love getting free stuff, and I'm sure everybody loves getting free stuff. And Essential Rewards is essentially an auto ship program. If you purchase $50 or more a month, which you may not do, your second or third month, you may just be playing around with the oils that are in your everyday kit, or you may decide that, look, this is something that I want to continue doing, and I know that there's going to be an oil that I'm going to need to replace or that I'm going to want to try, or maybe another product, some oil-infused skincare, or something from the company that you're going to want to try and play with every month. If you know if that's you, or maybe when that becomes you, and you find yourself ordering on a regular basis, I would highly encourage you to join Essential Rewards, because you start earning points that accumulate, and those points can be redeemed for free product. So I have, let my points accumulate and redeem them for hundreds of dollars worth of free oils that has allowed me to try some of the more expensive oils or blends that have turned out to be phenomenal for my family, but maybe I didn't want to spend the money to try them before I knew how well they worked. Those things, that it really does add up. Your points will add up over time. For the first 6 months on the program, you earn 10% back. The next 6 months, you earn 15% back, and then after a year on the program, you earn 20% back. So when you hit that 20% mark, there's like a little celebration in your head, and you start thinking, yay, I'm going to earn, every oil I buy, or every product I buy, every time I buy my household cleaner, every time I buy my toothpaste, I'm getting 20% back in a little fund that I can, that I can splurge on, and I can spend maybe for Christmas or for my birthday or whatever. And so it's a lot of fun to get that totally free order of essential oils and of product, once you've saved up some points. So wonderful program, and I love it, and everybody who's on it loves it. So I just want to put that bug in your ear. It may be something that you want to join down the road once you find yourself becoming a frequent user of essential oils. So for now, I will just go back to the screen so that you have the information there as far as what you get in the Premium Starter Kit. And so if you have any questions, we can open it up for questions. Sandy, I think you're in control of that. So I'll turn it over to you.